Awesome. Hi, everyone. Mary Lenihan here, your relationship manager. Today I'm here with Rebecca Medeiros Terkelsen at Studio PWR, which is a Pilates studio. And I just want to point out that PWR is Pilates with Rebecca. How long have you been practicing Pilates and teaching?
Oh gosh, I have been practicing Pilates for about 22 to 24 years now. I started as a dancer and then I made my way into the fitness world and sort of stumbled into Pilates, and the two together have been a perfect match for me.
And it seems like over the last, I don't know, would you say decade or more, it's really taken on a life of its own and popularity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pilates and Pilates Reformer especially has been the last, I would say 15 years has really changed. It's grown in the industry. It's developed in different ways, but the basics of it, the Pilates aspect of it has been the constant that has been what everybody likes.
And why would someone like me, which I've been in your classes, want to be on one of your reformers?
So the great thing about the Pilates Reformer machine is that we take all of the principles of Pilates and then we either challenge you or get assistance from the machines. So sometimes you're on the machine and you're being challenged because it's a heavy spring and you have to use more tension. And other times the springs are actually helpful in supporting you to do certain exercises.
Okay. And the fundamentals of Pilates, if I understand correctly, is about your core.
It's strength and core based workout. So everything is based around the core, but we do consider it a total body workout when you're doing it. It's not just a core workout. We do work legs and arms and
I can attest to that. You're on these machines and you think, oh, piece of cake, and then you go home and wake up the next day and you're feeling it in places where you haven't felt it before.
We like
but
that.
It's a lot of fun, and like any exercise, it's cumulative, so you kind of have to stick with it. And so tell us a little bit about, just as from my own little store of knowledge, you can take a class and you have a wonderful app where you can buy packages or one-offs.
Yep. So we start all new clients with what we call a new client series, where they come in and they meet with myself or Jen, another instructor in the studio here, and we do 3 private sessions. So you're by yourself for at least those first 3, and you get an introduction to the machine as well as to Pilates itself. Some people have never experienced Pilates in any way, so coming into a room with the machines can be very intimidating.
Yes.
So we always start everybody with private sessions. Some people then move on and they go into small group classes, and you can see in here we only have 4 machines.
Yep.
So you're never in a class of more than 4 people in my studio. And each person then either chooses small groups or they stay sometimes with privates. Some people do duets with a friend or that kind of thing.
Well, and the benefit of the size of the room is the personal attention.
Absolutely.
And also making sure, you don't injure yourself or...
That's a big deal. You usually will see Pilates Reformer in private studios like mine because of that reason. They can be very dangerous if you're using them on your own and done different ways. So we always stick to that very individualized workout where you're working one-on-one with somebody, or at the most, in our case, 4-on-1.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. Okay, so now we're moving over to the actual equipment. This is a reformer. Rebecca, why don't you just take a minute and explain what exactly this is and how it works.
People a lot of times refer to this as the rack. They look at it and they think it's going to be a torturous device, but it's actually very supportive and really helpful. So when you come in and you see the reformer, and we have STOT equipment all in this studio, every individual studio might have slightly different equipment, but ours is a nice commercial grade reformer. We have a foot bar that you'll be using sometimes with your feet, sometimes pushing on with your hands. We have a carriage, which a lot of the times you actually start lying down on your back. So you're being nicely supported through all kinds of footwork and things like that. You also might be kneeling or on your side or turned backwards or seated. We also have some loops that we'll use. Sometimes your hands are in the loops, sometimes your feet go into the loops, and it's all based on spring tension. So what makes the reformer different is that it's tension-based exercise, not gravity-based exercises. So when you're lifting weights, you're working against gravity. With springs, you always have tension.
So now we're going to put me on the rack and we're going to maybe show me a beginner exercise. So any of you folks out there who might want to try it.
Absolutely. So Mary, you're going to sit down at the very edge of the reformer here. And I'd like you to slide all the way down close to the spring so that when you lie down, your head will be resting nicely against the shoulder rest. Head back. Good. And your shoulders are relaxed. And we're going to start with footwork. So I'm going to have you bring your feet up on top of the bar here. And let's just start with your heels on the bar.
Okay.
Nice and easy. And everything going straight up and down. And remember, you're going to brace your core nice and strong. Use all those Pilates principles. Take a nice inhale through your nose. And on your exhale, you're going to press into those feet and extend the legs all the way up. Inhale, come all the way back in.
And then you do a number of reps.
We would do anywhere from 10 to 15 repetitions or so of this. And then we would change your foot position a little bit and do a little bit different one. And then we might say, okay, Mary, you're going to come all the way in and we'll pick up one foot. Let's do the same thing on one foot. You can do it. You're nice and strong. You can handle that same spring.
But you feel it. You definitely feel it. It's smooth.
Yeah.
And it's important, right, to keep your core engaged.
So the nice thing is that each person is on their own machine. So let's say Mary just had a knee replacement surgery and she needed to adjust a little bit differently because she couldn't bend her knee to come all the way back in here. I have settings on the machine that I can change the setting a little bit so that when Mary's coming in, it will stop her before she's at that point where it's going to be painful for her.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So we could have 4 different people doing the exercise 4 slightly different ways based on their own individual issues.
Okay. I've done this before. Okay.
So shoulders away from the shoulder rest and then core engagement and bring your legs to tabletop and we're going to squeeze the legs together. And yep, you were right. Elbows bent by your side.
Okay.
Take a nice inhale. And on your exhale, let's come up into flexion. So I want you to lift your head, neck, and shoulders, ribs to pelvis. Good. Now stay right there, Mary, with your elbows just off the mat. And I just want you to bend your elbows like you're doing a little tricep press. Exhale, press your arms down straight. Good. Inhale to bend.
Give such good direction.
Exhale, press down. Inhale, bend. Exhale, press down. Now, if we wanted to add a little more core, straighten your legs as you press your arms, and then you can bend as you come back in. Good. 3 more. Exhale, press.
3 more.
Inhale. Exhale, press. Last one, Mary. Nice exhale, and then inhale, release all the way back, and you can relax down. Nice job.
Don't let it fool you. It looks smooth, but I'll feel it tomorrow. That was fun. I'm not a regular, I wouldn't say, but I do love it when I come.
It's nice.
It's really fun.
It's a good balance for everything else because you're doing, so many other things, and people don't think of it as necessarily something in addition to, but it's the kind of thing where you're going to do all the things you're not doing no matter what. So if you're a weightlifter, you're going to get something out of this because you're going to be stretching more and mobilizing more. If you're somebody who does a lot of high impact aerobics and things like that, you're going to get more out of this because you have slower, longer
and you
exercises.
Have classes designed just like Pilates for tennis players.
Yes.
So you focus on different muscle groups to enhance someone's game.
Exactly. So that for people that want to build power and things like that, that's exactly what that's set up for.
Remind us again how long ago you opened your accounts here at the Coop, roughly?
Right. So I took over this business inside Mid-Cape Athletic Club back in 2010. So I opened my account back then. Okay. I had a slightly different name when I first started. We've gone through a few name changes too and have since changed a couple of times. And actually what was great was because I was a personal client first at the Coop back then, I went into the bank and they made it so easy for me to open a separate checking account for my business that was connected to my personal, so I could do my business back and forth between the two. And also super helpful when I did go through a name change. They let me know exactly what I needed to do. What's great is anytime I go in, especially to my Yarmouth Port branch, they know who I am. They know what I'm there for.
Yes, it's a good team.
I love it.
Even though, we expand and have change in personnel, sometimes I feel like they all are so well trained and the continuity of service has been there. Would that be fair?
It's very easy to go. And, anytime I have a question, if I'm just stopping in, it's so easy to talk to somebody and get help with anything that I need. So I never feel like I'm out of touch. It's very simple and helpful. I love it.
That's great. So you do your business banking and your personal banking.
Sure do. Yeah.
So far you haven't had to take advantage of our wonderful loan products, but we're here because that's what I do from our
I know. It doesn't mean I won't. We know that we want to do some upgrades, so that is something that we will consider in the future.
Yeah.
And the Cape and Coast Bank would be the first place I would go, obviously.
Excellent. Excellent. And any advice you might have for either someone considering a business or someone considering changing banks?
Ooh. Well, having somebody to go to local, I think, is one of the
Yeah.
most important things. On Cape Cod especially, we're such a small community here that needs to support each other.
Yeah.
And so I think it is important using a bank that has local branches, local people, and makes it simple. So knowing who you're working with and who you're dealing with, and Cape and Coast is so open about that, it makes it very easy to go in. My recommendation would be to go in and talk to you guys first.
Yeah.
So I do pop in person. However, the change in the app just made it so easy that my personal and my checking are now connected. I'm a small business, single business owner, and all of the banking is done through me, myself, and I. So being able to do online banking and have those transfers easily go through with just a couple clicks of a button, so simple. It's changed my life. It makes it so much easier.
And I love hearing it. So Rebecca, this has been great. We thank you so much for letting us come into the studio, learning a little bit about how the machines work and your personal style, which, as everyone could see, is so welcoming and warm and clear. I always like a good, clear instructor to guide me. And of course, we're in front of the lovely ocean here, so you can enjoy a day and get a good Pilates workout. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.